Okay, my name is Mohammad Abdullah Bari. I'm 47-year-old, and my original country where we originally come from is Pakistan.
And when were you born there?
I was born in the UK in
Are you born-
1971. Yeah,
And then your parents were born in.
my parents were born in they were born in India. They were born in India, yes.
And then they moved to Pakistan?
When they were small, they came to Pakistan, yes.
Okay, and when did your family come to the UK?
Well, my father came in the early 50s, and my mother followed him after about 5 years, about in the 60s, she followed him.
And where did he come to?
He came originally, he came to Manchester because we had some other relatives also living here. So he came to Manchester and he started staying with them.
Okay, and then talk about his journey to Rusholme. So he.
Yeah.
Looking in the camera. So how
Yeah.
did he end up coming to Rusholme?
Well, he ended up coming to Rusholme. He used to do marketing in market stalls. He was selling like tights and things like that. Then he came into like selling first halal meat. Started slaughtering his own lambs and chickens. We were one of the first people who introduced halal meat to Manchester.
Oh, right. And where was that shop?
Well, same shop. Well, my dad used to do slaughtering, then he used to do delivering to other shops. My father never opened the shop at that time,
Okay.
but he used to do meat wholesale. Then he made a shop in 1966. He opened the shop. Then he started selling his own halal meat and chicken. Then slowly went into grocery, and as we are now, this is how we are now.
So this shop
Yeah.
has been here since 1966?
My father opened in 1966, but he came to England in 1950s.
Okay, and it was called, at that point it was called Ravi?
Same name, we've carried on the same name, Ravi Food Store, yeah.
Sorry, so I talked over you there. Just say the name of the shop.
Ravi Food Store, yeah.
And your father's name?
My father's name is Ghulam Bari.
Okay, excellent. And then talk about why he left Pakistan to come to the UK.
Well, for instance, he was doing business there as well in Pakistan. He had a little shop, but my family, it was a joint family, very big family over there, and he couldn't cover the expenses, and there was always like arguments and things like that at home. So he decided for a better life for them, he moved to England.
Okay, and did it meet his expectations?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. But his heart was always in Pakistan. He always wanted to go to Pakistan, but he never went.
Oh, right, okay. And then when he first came to Rusholme, when the shop was first set up, and
Yeah,
I'm not sure how old you were.
I wasn't born that time.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Talk about your earliest memories of the shop and Rusholme.
Well, Rusholme was a very historical place as I remember it. Across the road from us used to be like a hat shop. They used to sell hats that I remember. And there was next to it used to be a sherbet shop and so on. And at the end used to be a cinema called Cricketer Cinema. Yeah, and it used to be a very, very nice place at one time. And as far as I remember, the roads were a lot wider as well at that time. And the shelves, now we have metal shelves. At that time there used to be wooden shelves, and they used to use more glass, like glass shelves or glass counters. I remember glass counters in my shop where they used to serve like, Indian sweetmeats and things like that. We used to sell them as well at one time because there was no, in Rusholme there was only one restaurant on the whole road, and they never used to sell sweetmeat, and they started selling sweetmeat afterwards.
So at that point then, what was the ethnic mix of Rusholme?
Well, we had at that time there were like obviously English people were here, but there were less Asians at that time, as far as I remember, and maybe a few Chinese. Very rare we used to see Chinese, but as the years are progressing, we're seeing more ethnic people now mixing together.
Okay, and then how long have you worked in the shop all your life then?
Well, about 30 years I've been working here, yeah, since I left college.
Okay, and then how have you seen in that 30 years, how has Rusholme changed or improved?
Well, I would say it's gone more commercialized. The people that come for shopping, they don't feel very relaxed, as whereas one time they used to be more relaxed, and they used to do, talk more. But people have started rushing around too much in Rusholme, and they talk less. Whereas as the old people that used to come, the old generation, they were more friendly. The new generation is not that friendly as they used to be.
Why
They
do you think
keep-
that is?
They're not very good talkers. They keep themselves to themselves, and that's it really. Whereas the old people, they used to come and be friendlier, and even some people, they used to stroke my head and all sorts. They used to do. I used to have a lot of, well, grannies. You can say grannies, and they used to always say, "Yeah, this is for you. This is for you. This sweet's for you. This is for you," and things like that. So on. But you don't see these people anymore now.
Maybe you're too old for them to be giving you sweets.
Well, it's not that we don't even see them because they're passed on.
Yeah.
The new generation is so like they're into like internet and all this, TVs and all this, whereas they're not very good conversationalists.
So have you noticed what you're selling has had to change over the generations? So have you've had to bring in different produce or different types of food?
Yeah, we're more gone into things like Arabic food, Chinese food, and different type of fruits we do now as well. Whereas at one time it was just apple and oranges and bananas basically, but now it's more different fruits. Now we're talking about avocados, lychees, dragon fruits and things like that, different fruits, star fruits.
And that's for your. So what's your customer base? Who's coming in the shop? What nationality?
Well, I would say it's multicultural. It's multicultural people coming in, English people come in, Pakistani, Indian people, African people. I sell African products as well. So it's multicultural people are coming in.
Okay, and you've got a butcher's shop in the corner, so
Yeah.
you're still selling halal meat.
Halal meat, we're still selling that, but that halal meat is for everybody. Anybody can eat halal meat. You don't have to be, any religion people can eat halal meat. It only means like kosher.
Yeah. But so you said your dad was the first person to sell halal meat
Yeah.
here. That must have been a big.
Yeah, because he had experience, because he used to do like meat wholesale prior, because he used to deliver like places like Bury, Oldham, Rochdale, all the little towns around Manchester. He used to deliver there before he opened the shop.
Okay. Excuse me. So we talk about Rusholme today, Abdullah.
Mm-hmm.
How does it compare today in terms of the makeup of the shops
Mhm.
to 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
I would say that it's changed. There's more Arabs in Rusholme, Kurdish Arabs, and they're more opening like shisha bars, which is not really family oriented. Whereas before this area was more like family oriented. People used to come with their families and walk around, go to the cinema here. There used to be a cinema here, and go to the restaurants, eat your kebabs, samosas, whatever you wanted to eat, and chill out. Whereas people are not that much chilling out in this area. They're more watching their backs, because there's a lot of thieves running around here as well, and so on, things like that.
So if they're not family, or they seem busy, the shisha bars, but so who's going to them?
I think just students really. Just students are going there and they're just smoking tobacco. I don't know if it's tobacco, what's in the tobacco, which draws them in. It might be something else which actually draws them in. And they just go there, they keep themselves to themselves, and it's more like that. There's more of a nightlife in Rusholme now, where at one time it used to be just like a day life. It's more a nightlife. Some people, even I've seen people walking around in the middle of the early hours of the morning, as far as 5 o'clock in the morning, making noise and things like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the daytime and the community aspect
No problem.
of it. So, so what's your involvement in the community? How do you get involved?
Well, I'm a chairman of a committee called Rusholme Traders Association, and we try to keep the area clean, noise-free and things like that, and so on. We handle other people's matters. We try to help the community.
That's good. And how many shops and restaurants are involved in that?
I think it's most of the road, about 100 shops. Yeah, we got about 100 shops in our society.
How often do you meet?
We meet about once a month, sometimes twice a month.
Okay. Okay, it'd be quite good for us to come along to one of those.
Yeah,
meetings,
no
I
problem,
think.
no problem, no problem.
Okay, good. So let's talk about the future of Rusholme and your shop and you and your family. So what are the plans for the shop? How do you see that evolving?
Well, as soon as my children have finished their degrees, everything, my children are going to university, Manchester University. So as soon as they finish their degrees, I might retire. I might retire actually, because I'm a bit ill as well at the moment. I've got like kidney problems and things like that. But apparently, as far as I go, so let's see what happens, because I'm the last of the grocers in Rusholme, I think.
So can we talk about your children, what they're studying?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, my son is studying accountancy and finance at Manchester University, and one of my sons is going to KD Grammar School. He's only 12. He's got a long time to go yet, though.
So you don't want them to be shopkeepers?
No, they've got no interest in shopkeeping or business.
Okay. And then if we talk about Rusholme and itself and the street, how do you see it evolving in the next 3, 4, 5 years?
There's going to be a big change, but I don't know what's going to happen, because one side of Winslow Road, they've actually closed it, like, from Heather Sage Road. It's like become just one way. People that go travelling towards town, they just have to turn a right, which has made quite a lot of difference, I think. They're trying to make more footfall here, but we haven't got enough parking. We need more parking in this area for the customers to come in.
And is that something? I guess the traders talk about that. Is that an argument you?
Yeah, we taken to the council. Yeah, because then they say we haven't got enough space for car parks. That's why the customers are tensed too much when they come to this area. They're always watching their cars and so on. We're gonna get a ticket. This is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Whereas they're not focusing on shopping and things like that. They're just like running through the area and without spending enough time, I think, in the area.
Okay, that's interesting. So how do you see, if you were to look into the future and in 20 years' time, what do you think the street would look like?
The street, I think, it's not going to develop any further. I think it might become like what it was before, like in the early 50s. It might become like that. It might be more footfall, less cars in the area. Probably we'll see more buses, because this is the main route for buses. But less cars, less footfall, which means less business. Business won't be that much here in Rusholme. The only people that will survive is probably the kebab houses or the restaurants, if people can get parking.
Okay. Right. I've got no more ask. Yeah. Is there anything you want to ask us? What?
No. We're quite happy. Yeah, quite happy with the question.
That's really interesting, actually. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Interesting to know your children are going to go off and do.
Yeah, because they say that Dad, it's not our cup of tea. It's very hard work what you're doing, because I spend about 17, 18 hours a day in the shop, and you don't really have more of a family life. Whereas my children, they want a job that 9 to 5 hours a day, just 5 days a week. Whereas I used to work 7 days a week, so I had to cut down because of my health to 6 days a week. But it's very hard work. We get up about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. First thing I do, I go to Smithfield Market, do the shopping, everything. Then I come and set up everything. Then I serve at the same time. I do shelving at the same time, and so on. It's not that easy.
No wonder they don't want to do it.
They don't want to do it. No.
Right, Abdullah, thanks. That's brilliant.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.